Winning Blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less. Buffalo Bills.
Welcome to 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Want to talk about what this show will entail before I actually get to the 5 minutes or less segment. And I'll be brief. Again, this video will not be a very lengthy video at all. This will just be a video that goes over the 2012 season in a quick capsule, in a quick nutshell. And this is the last time I'll talk about the 2012 season at all, because we're at the point now where we're starting to move away from 2012 and into 2013. We're getting into free agency. We're getting into the draft. And so you're ready to move on, put a bow on 2012, and start looking forward to the future. And so this is the last time we'll reference 2012 with this segment. This is the segue into the offseason, into the new season, into 2013. And so we'll be doing that with this segment, putting 2012 to rest and starting to move into the 2013 offseason with this segment, 5 minutes or less. And let me quickly tell you what it will entail, and then we'll move into the segment. So essentially, here's the criteria for the show. There's the high point of the season in 2012 for your particular NFL team. So, of course, the high point being the highest point that they reached in the season, when they felt the best about their prospects for the outcome of their season. There's the low point that I will be talking about for your team in the 2012 season, which is when your team reached their moment of despair in the 2012 season. We'll be talking about free agent activity. And there's 4 categories that I broke it down into. You can either be a team that needs to be aggressive during free agency, a team that needs to test the waters during free agency. Aggressive means you have a lot of cap space, you have a lot of money to spend, you have a lot of needs, you need to go out and address them through free agency. Be aggressive, go out and get as many players as you can to help fill the voids that you have on your football team. Test the waters. You have money, you have a little bit of cap space to play with, but you have a lot of players already signed the contracts on your team, and so you need to go out, see what's out there, see if there's some guys that can help you. If so, reach out, grab a few of them, and come back, bring them on your roster, and move on. You don't need to be overly aggressive as some teams who have a lot of cap space, who have a lot of needs, who need to go out there and pull 4, 5, 6 guys out of free agency to help fill their roster. You might just need to pull out 1 or 2 guys, 3 guys, and you just need to go test the waters and see what's out there. Maybe there's some guys that can help you. There's minimal. Minimal means you don't need to do much of anything. There may be 1 or 2 guys that you need to take a look at in free agency, but you don't have a lot of money to spend anyway. So you just go out there, see what's available. If there's a bargain basement deal for you to have, you go out and you go seek it. And then there's stand pat. Stand pat is essentially doing nothing in free agency. You don't have any money, or you have money, but you don't need to go and spend it on free agents. Don't do anything. Just stand pat. And so that's going to be the free agency activity part of the segment. And lastly, the state of the fan base is essentially how the fan base of your favorite team probably feels going into the offseason and going into the upcoming 2013 season that's looming ahead. How they feel about some of the offseason moves that have been made already and things to come. How you feel about this team moving forward. And so the fan base of your favorite team either is going to feel like one of these few categories that I've set aside. Extreme optimism, cautious optimism, lukewarm, what are we doing optimism, or in the famous words of Vince Lombardi, what the hell is going on out there? So those are your categories. So now that you know the criteria for the show, let's get started. I got 5 minutes on the clock. We're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. And the high point of the season for the Buffalo Bills, in my estimation, you could argue it was the Thursday night win over the Miami Dolphins on prime time, on the big stage. They were able to get it done against the Dolphins. For my money, week 3 win over Cleveland, 2nd win in a row, and started the season 2-1. big showdown looming the next week against New England at home. Have a chance to really put a nail in the coffin for the New England Patriots, who have started the season 1-2. You're 2-1. You win this game, go to 3-1. The Patriots lose to you. Not only do they fall a game behind you in the division because of the head-to-head matchup and you won, but also they'll be 1-3 in the division. You'll be 3-1. Had a chance to do something monumental in the season, failed to do so. That was the high point of the season to me for the Buffalo Bills, winning in Cleveland early in the season, 24-14, to take their record to 2-1. You look at the low point of the season for the Bills. You could choose from several different instances here. That very next week that I was talking about after beating Cleveland against New England, that's a low point if you want to talk about having a chance to do something big in the season and not taking advantage of it. You could also look at that Week 7 loss right before the bye to Tennessee. You still have a chance to make something of your season. You're at home against Tennessee, a team that has been struggling. They come back from behind, beat you on the last possession of the game with 1 minute and 3 seconds left. Matthew Hasselbeck throws a touchdown pass to beat you. That could be the low point. But for me, the low point of the season was Week 15 against Seattle. Little resistance in this game. You never stood a chance. You were absolutely blown out in Canada. Was never close. You did not put up a fight, and you were beat with a 50-burger put on your head. I think that was the low point of the season for the Buffalo Bills. You look at free agent activity for the Buffalo Bills, and they have to be aggressive. There's no other way to say it. The Bills need to be aggressive in free agency. They have to be a major player. They have a lot of needs on this team. They need linebacker help. They can use some QB help. They need some more secondary help. They can use some receiver help. They didn't re-sign or tender David Nelson, so he might be walking away. They just cut Terrence McGee, as well as they cut ties with Nick Barnett and George Wilson. There's some holes on this team. You need to be aggressive in free agency. The Bills will have over $20 million in cap space which to play with. They're going to have some money. They just freed up more money by getting rid of Barnett and Wilson. They're going to need to spend money in free agency. They will have the space to do so. Expect the Bills to be major players in free agency. And lastly, the state of the fan base. If you're a Bills fan, it is cautious optimism that you have going into the 2013 season. You have a new coach in Doug Marrone, and things look like they're starting to turn around for you, but you need to see what direction Marrone is going to take this team in. Will you have a QB? Will you get a QB of the future now, or will you wait? Will you go out in free agency and get that QB? You've already went out and got Tavares Jackson, so that's another option that you've chosen to explore. And so maybe Tavares Jackson is the Band-Aid solution right now to something that needs surgery for this team. I don't know. Doug Marrone has come in. He's going to have this team going in a different direction. You've got new coaches all over this staff, and so maybe the defense is better under the direction of Marrone and his staff. The defensive line, we know, is one of the better ones in the National Football League. You need linebacker help. Maybe you get it in the form of the draft and through free agency, and this linebacking core is a lot better. Your secondary is young. You need to have back Jarius Byrd. There's nothing to talk about, and the Bills are in the works right now of trying to iron out a long-term deal with Jarius Byrd. So that's something that would put you at ease, but you want to see that deal get done as soon as possible. You have another decision to make with Leotis McKelvin. Do you bring him back as a special teams guy that can help you at corner in a pinch, or do you allow him to walk away? There's questions to be answered for the Bills, but they have money to spend in free agency, and I think the state of the fan base for the Bills should be cautious optimism. So that is the Buffalo Bills in 5 minutes or less.
Buffalo Bills, 5 minutes or less.